Cheapest flight ever. Just call us or click on the description below. Cheap flights. Airlines, additionally described as no-fuss or reduced fares airlines, are airlines that supply most inexpensive flights. Travel. The inexpensive airline companies ought to not be confused with normal airline companies that supplying seasonal discounted prices. Unlike the normal airlines, these airline companies constantly provide such reduced fares as well as keeping their expenses reduced. Background of cheap flights. Airlines. Affordable trip airlines were begun in 1971 by an American airline companies called Southwest Air. In 1994, 3 million travelers chose to utilize the cheap flights and the data skies rocketed in the next year. 1995 saw over 17.5 million vacationers relocate from the regular airlines to the reduced price trips airline companies in a quote to get the most of. This trend has remained to identify the airline company market. Numerous mainstream airlines have actually either changed to the economical price flights business or have actually opened up franchise business to catch this expanding demand. Case in point is British Airways that established their cheap flights airline subsidiary called Go. KLM also began a franchise business for reduced fare flights called Buzz. Nevertheless, Buzz was acquired by Ryanair and also EasyJet after the previous owning airline companies recorded losses from these cheap flight subsidiaries. Today, EasyJet and Ryanair are the most effective low-rates flights business running in Europe. With the economic recession and also the tough hit on the airline companies market, experts project that they forecast that reduced prices flights will certainly also take the long far-off paths which are currently predominated by the huge normal airlines. Just how the cheap flights handle their costs. The cheap flights airline companies are able to have the most inexpensive flights for different factors. These airline companies will mainly land on airport terminals that are smaller sized and considering that they typically have the least expensive trips, the trips are primarily complete as well as they lessen on their loading and unloading time at flight terminals. How to obtain the most inexpensive flights for your traveling. Even with the cheap flights airlines, you can manage your travel to time the least expensive offers and as a result minimize additionally on your traveling prices. Since there are no intermediaries with these airlines, all you require to do is go to the airline company's internet site and publication for some cheap flights airline companies will certainly have the prices suggested inclusive of tax obligations while others exclude tax obligations. Cheap flights airlines, also referred to as no-frills or low-fares airlines, are airline companies that provide least expensive trips travel prices by offering most of their on-board solutions such as freight carrying. The reduced-cost airlines ought to not be perplexed with routine airline companies that supplying seasonal discounted fares. Unlike the regular airline companies, these airlines consistently give such reduced prices and keeping their costs reduced. Affordable flight airlines were started in 1971 by an American airline companies called Southwest Airlines. 1995 saw over 17.5 million vacationers relocate from the normal airlines to the reduced fare flights airlines in a quote to obtain the least expensive trips. Cheapest flight ever. Just call us or click on the description below.